Hey, and welcome guys to another video. Now, this will not probably be a quite liked video, but I wanted to make it just because of I wanted to give kind of like a state of the channel. Right now, I am currently working in the background on our weapon changing and saving and loading of bulk data and how to handle that at the most efficient way. And the next thing that we will be working on is all of our art stuff. That way we can start debugging code and see what needs fixed and what doesn't. That way we can work things out if they do not work the way they are intended. Because we've done a lot of bulk coding. So now we have to go through that code and make sure that it runs really smoothly and see what is not performing as should. And the other thing that I am working on currently right now is a way to, well, I have it kind of worked out, but a way to let, I want to find the simplest way that I can give you guys for jumping and like climbing up on a ledge or doing a wall run, or just a simple, hey, let's have our player like peek around a corner. I want a simple solution for you guys. That way it's not too hard, and like I don't, because I have a solution right now, but it would require you to watch about 4 or 5 hours worth of video, and it's very detailed, and it's a little bit more complex than I think it needs to be. So I'll be working on that in the background, but that is what we will probably be working on later when I actually refine it a little bit more. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up if you're sitting there waiting for maybe a little bit of more content. It's not coming real soon, but it is coming. So you can probably expect to see some more scripting and a little bit more on the weapon customization, because the next thing that we will be doing is we will be doing camera movement so that you can move the we're going to have the camera move to a certain position based on what you currently are selected. So we will have where we can change silencers and things like that, and change textures where it will zoom in to a certain area, and then you have buttons to select from the different types, because you might want to see what the scope looks like, and it doesn't seem that it serves a purpose if it's just a stationary gun or a gun that just rotates. It's kind of too generic for me, and I don't want to produce something that's so dull like that, because a rotation is very easy. All you do is do a transform.rotate blue, and then you're done. And that's just not very fancy to me. I want something a little bit more refined than that, and I don't like pushing out content that just is terrible. And we will be moving toward more bundle stuff and files. Our saving system that we have, I will be refining that into a little bit more complex, because a lot of my primary examples in our scenes and stuff, they require you to have multiple files, and I'm not too fond of it, because multiple files and you got to open when some of it does not need to be that way. So that will be something that I will be looking at. One of the assets that I will be using for placeholder art is what you see on the screen. Probably one of our best videos will probably be making this one shoot and everything and animate, all that good stuff. But I have to come up with a better loading stuff, because right now it works, but I don't like it just because it's a little bit heavy. Well, I wouldn't say heavy, but it's not up to my standards. so I don't want to show it yet because there could be a lot of bugs with it. So that's one of the things that is going to be worked out, because it's looking like in our weapon script we've got a lot of logic that's just there for loading purposes, like loading a new weapon. Does it need all these variables and things like that? And I'm not too fond of it because it does too many things. If you have a script that does a crap ton of different things, like, okay, one, I have loading an asset bundle in there, then another, I have it placing an object, and another thing, and it's like 5 different things. And then at the very end, I have it getting the components so that it can pull the weapon out. Seems a little way too much for me. Way too much for me. So the solution that I'm going to come up with is I'm probably going to have you guys show you guys how to do a custom instantiation function. That way you can just call this function and it will spawn a weapon on the player instead of all the other stuff. That, and I plan on moving this another series into a Photon multiplayer game. Show a simple example. So that's one of the other projects that I'm working on, which I have about 10 videos recorded for it that'll show you the basics and how to join a room, things like that. So it's almost ready for publishing. So there's going to be a lot of great content coming out within the next couple months, because I'm parsing it out into several smaller videos, because the Photon ones right now, if I published them right now, they would be about 12 hours, because I highly detailed them into every possible way that I could find, every problem that you could come up with, like if the network's down, if you didn't fill in variables, all this stuff. So it's going to be a really long series on that one, but I just wanted to let you guys heads up on that. And this series right here that you're looking at is going to be for a single player, but we're going to have inventory where it's based on files and stuff. So if you wanted to make a very big with lots and lots of items for the player and customization of like textures on his weapon and collect stuff, this is probably going to be the tutorial that you will want to watch and like make sure you're subscribed to, because I find that first person shooters don't have enough content, as in like textures and what you can do and things like that. And on this one, I will probably make it kind of survival, but with a twist where you can like make your own guns, make items, make health packs, stuff like that, because it seems like that is one of the things that people enjoy, something that's long term that they can build up, and things like that. And I may come up with a level editor for that so that people can make levels themselves, have make a custom level for like bases and things like that. Like they can build their own internal base, have one specific dedicated level for players where they can go around and just build stuff, build like a house with a bunch of prefabs or anything like that. But I plan on making the game objects that they can use, I plan on making them where they can import them into the game. Probably that function will probably require them to have asset bundles, which means they'll have to have access to Unity, but it's only to instantiate asset bundles into the game. Like, hey, if you wanted a weapon to sit on the ground or whatnot, then there you go. Because a simple mesh is easy to import into Unity, but if you have something like what you see on the screen as in a weapon that has a skin mesh, it gets very much more complicated. So I think if I put a default function in there for asset bundling and give the API opened up where players can just import their own models through asset bundles, then I believe the community would like that a lot more. But that's kind of one of the things, and I'll show you guys how to do all that. With the level editor stuff itself, I'm probably going to make it where it functions a lot like the Unity editor, but you'll have like buttons for rotating and things like that. It may be very interesting for you guys. I haven't made the level editor fully yet, but it's looking pretty good. So just to let you guys know about the content and things that I'm creating. And thank you guys for your Patreon support. And a couple donations came in to the YouTube that helps. Buys me a bottle of pop and things. Thank you very much. You know who you are. You're probably watching this right now. But thanks. That helps. Anything that you guys do, like, hit subscribe, it all helps. And I just want to appreciate it and thank you very much for your support. And I'm going to let you guys go and enjoy your day. But just the heads up on the content, it's coming. I haven't gave up. I'm just making sure it's a little bit more polished than some of my other tutorials. So thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.